The grass is green, the sky is blue, and it's a great day to be alive. Great day for high school soccer here on ETV, and that's just what we have for you. Coming to you live from Eagan High School, campus of Eagan High School, Eagan, Minnesota, a matchup between two intra-section rivals as well as two intra-conference rivals, the Eastview Lightning and the Eagan Wildcats, here for you tonight on ETV, both our YouTube channel as well as on cable. Thanks for joining us, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Nathan Cron. I'm joined by my broadcast partner, Skip Newton, and an award-winning ETV crew that we will meet shortly. And Skip, the Wildcats are coming off their first loss of the season, 0-3 to the Minnetonka Skippers last Saturday. It was a rough outing for the Wildcats here at Wildcat Stadium. Obviously, Minnetonka is an excellent program, an excellent team, and we expected, the Wildcats would have a tough test. What do you take out of that test on Saturday, and what do we expect here tonight between the Wildcats and the Lightning?
I really expect the Eagan Wildcats to show what they're made of here today. They did not perform up to their own standards for sure on Saturday's contest, as the 3-0 deficit would show you. I mean, that was very reflective of how the game was played. I think the Wildcats view themselves as a team that should be contending to make the state tournament. And in order to do that, they're going to have to bounce back against a good Eastview team here today. And I like the fact that they come back, just a couple of days, 3 days later, and they get another good, tough opponent. So that's going to make them pick up the intensity right from the start.
Wildcats in blue with white numbers. The Eastview Lightning from just south on I-35. It's more like Pilot Knob Road. in white with blue numbers. This ball falls for Enning. Enning sends that up for Jensen. Jensen went in on Abruzzo by herself, and Abruzzo, Ashley Abruzzo, the junior keeper for the Lightning, is quickly off of her line. She had to get that right as Jensen was bearing down on her. And we'll set your lineups here in just a moment. As soon as we get a chance to take our breath, well, I'll try that now. The Wildcats have Turner, Fall, and Enning. Anna Enning in the back with Waldrop, Jolstrom, Jensen, Enning in the middle, Olivia Enning, and then on the outsides you have Weisendonner on top, and the outsides are Seehafer and Leitenberg, a familiar lineup to what we've seen at the front. Abruzzo, Johnson, Cobbler, Hayward, Kaufman, Fleece, Verkinderen, Wilson, Nygaard, Schaefer, and Poli are your starters for the Lightning. Ending with it, running Poli out into touch. The Wildcats know the Eastview Lightning very well, as you might imagine. These two schools are close by both geographically as well as share a lot of history, as Weisendonner makes a run down here on the sideline. As Nygaard ushers that ball out in over the end line.
Goal kick, Lightning.
Lightning. Oh,
I was going to say, looked like Nygaard had quite a bit of speed as she ducked in front of Weisendonner there, so something to be mindful of here. Usually Eagan attacks with their outside speed, Seehafer on one side, Leitenberg on the other. How does that match up with number 14, Nygaard there?
It'll be interesting to see how Weisendonner, despite the fact that she, prior to the Minnetonka game, had broken out into a little bit of a scoring streak. It'll be interesting to see how Weisendonner sets up her teammates. As you say, Leitenberg and Seehafer have been most consistently the two most consistent offensive threats for the Wildcats. This ball is actually going to be a throw for the Lightning. Now, last year, these two teams matched up twice, once in the regular season, the 2-0 victory for the Wildcats, and then in the section semifinal, where the Eastview Lightning took a 1-0 lead into halftime, and the Wildcats came roaring back with 3 in the second half and put that one away before, of course, losing to the eventual state champions in the section final. And be the Rosemount Irish, who will, of course, be here on Thursday night. And join us here on ETV both for the boys and girls games on Thursday night against the Rosemount Irish. Header by Enning there, falls for Weisendonner. Weisendonner lays off. This is a beautiful ball over the top. Here's Seehafer. She's got one girl to beat. One defender, Seehafer, in, right foot. Abruzzo claims it.
Number 18 is on goal.
Pretty sure if we could talk to Seehafer right now, she would say that is not the shot I was looking for. Looked like she didn't quite get that, not only struck correctly, but definitely not directionally. She kicked that pretty much at the goalkeeper.
A little bit of contact there in the midfield, and some fans looking for a call, but nothing doing as the ball gets hoisted over the top, finds its way to the back line of the Eastview Lightning. Battle there in the middle, and then eventually Schaefer comes out with it. Not quite 5 minutes gone here in the first half. Score still 0-0, the Lightning and the Wildcats. Matching up here, not only is this a important conference game for Coach Q and these Wildcats, as well as the Lightning, but it's also an important game for section seeding purposes, as the Lightning and Wildcats share Section 3-3A. Wildcats also share Section 3-3A with the Rosemount Irish, who will be here on Thursday, as this ball gets played across for Enning. Enning not able to get to a nice step that time by Fleece. And this is a nice ball. Defense is going to be tested, and that's a clear offside. Hayward straying well over offside. The assistant referee had no hesitation there raising that flag. And from our perspective up here, and of course we're gifted by the fact that the football field gives us lines of sight that are square to the field, but that was pretty clear, Skip.
Yeah, and that's one of those where you see it quite a bit. The offensive player is running pretty much even with the defensive counterpart. But what they don't adjust to is when the ball gets passed, over and into clear space, that defensive player that they were running with steps up and goes to play the ball or play the person with the ball, immediately taking themselves, putting themselves into an offside position, and they don't adjust accordingly, even though the one girl that was keeping them onside has now completely moved up to play somebody else, and they just keep running, and it makes it for a really easy call.
First foul of the game on the Wildcats.
On the Wildcats, free kick for Eastview.
A little bit of a coughing fit here in the booth. Sorry, apologies to those of you watching or suffering at home. Wildcats, the last game, as we said, was a 0-3 loss to the Minnetonka Skippers, and they do play Rosemount on Thursday. Here on ETV, the girls will have, I believe, the early game, if I'm not mistaken. Boys will be playing the late game, so early game starts at 5 o'clock. Late game will start at 7. Seehafer with some footwork, tries to find Enning. Enning tries to keep possession of it. Nice job that time by the Lightning poking that forward as Hayward pressures Turner. Turner and Hayward, we're going to have a foul here against Hayward.
Nice physical play there by Turner to hold her ground, not commit a foul in retaliation, but she had one possession, she had the body position, and she was getting held by Hayward, and she just held her ground, and eventually the ref was forced to make that call.
Hayward demonstrating some substantial physical play as Poli takes on Turner. I think that ball's going to find its way into touch, and it does. Poli's touch let her down there, and the Wildcats will have a throw. Wildcats need to be smart about this. On paper, Wildcats feel like they've got a good matchup here as Jensen's going to make the run. She's going to be by Nygaard. Nygaard swam to the middle. Here's Weisendonner. Late arriving defense. Finds Jensen again. Seehafer sends it into the box looking for Enning. Jensen, Enning. That ball skips well over Enning's foot and finds its way to the defense.
Bit of a missed opportunity there for the Wildcats. They just could not make that one last either connecting pass or free themselves up for a good shot. But a nice job of keeping it down here and trying to put the pressure on.
This ball falls for Jensen. Jensen wants to get it on her right foot, but she can't. Comes out for Enning. Enning runs into a wall. Sarah Poli. And she'll win the throw. Center referee making sure that Anna Enning doesn't sneak up and try to grab 10 more yards.
Well, that's the second time I've seen Eagan throw the ball in, and the girl receiving the throw-in, there's nobody near her, like within 5 yards. Very strange to see that on a throw-in at this level.
Still early in this game as Waldrop's going to run this down on the far side. Haven't seen a lot of Kira Waldrop yet in this game, but she finds Jensen. Jensen going the other way. Jensen turns it over. Falls there for Verkinderen. That gets hoisted forward and intercepted. Nicely done, laid off that time by Jolstrom. Jensen was making a run. Enning couldn't find her. Now Poli versus Turner. Poli around Turner. Nice physical recovery that time by Enning. Getting back to take on shoulder to shoulder on Poli. And this will go back to Abruzzo. Isabella Fall making a bit of a sacrifice play there.
Heady player.
Heady play. Wildcats not quite quickly getting to every loose ball as this ball gets played forward. It's going to be played back for Valaga by Turner, who finds Fall. Ball gets played long But no Wildcats were in a position to make that run. See if this ball finds its way out, and it does for an Eagan throw.
Yeah, a little miscommunication there. A couple of players weren't on the same page. Wiesendoner had stopped and was checking back to the ball, and the ball was played almost as if they were looking for a through ball. Unfortunately, Seehafer was wide open, closer to the near touch. I think they need to use her more.
Now, Seehafer's also got 20 yards of space in front of her. Now the defense closes her down, but Josie Seehafer's by her. Seehafer to the end line, cross with the right foot, looking for the goal. It bounces, it's down, and cleared by the defense. Abruzzo could not quite corral that ball. There's a good turn by Hayward, and that's cleaned up by the defense. Valaga pooches that out towards midfield. The header doesn't work for the Eastview Lightning, but now here's Seehafer with a direct shot to goal. She's got defense coming down on her, and the defense does a nice job. And credit to Nygaard for coming over to take that away, but Seehafer had a lane in towards Abruzzo and the Eastview goal.
Yeah, usually the strategy there for the player when they're off on the side and not centered is you want that first touch to be towards goal, setting your body in the right position so that you can either face the goal and take a good shot or easily rotate in this case to the left for a pass. Unfortunately, the touch is just a little too far out in front of her.
Big throw by Turner, lands in the penalty area. A couple of girls go down. Wildcats trying to square up for a shot. Enning had to run around a defender, but nothing doing there. Referee not interested in anything there, and from my perspective, certainly didn't look like any type of penalty. Not much of a penalty shot from the players. Supporters are always another issue as Leitenberg tries to play that one off, and it falls for Johnson. Another foul here on the Wildcats. Their second of the half. That's Isabella Fall up from her outside back position, and number 8 Claire Beck for the Eastview Lightning is waiting to come on. She's been waiting there for a good couple of minutes now. It'll be interesting to see how the story of this game gets played out. Both of these teams have a big reason to want to win this soccer game. Both teams know each other very well. A lot of these girls went to either middle school together or played on club teams together as they are from the area. And that's another foul on Enning. Nice job by Poli keeping her feet and drawing that foul. Would have been easy for her to give up on that ball, but instead Sarah Poli draws the foul. Kaufman will take this free kick from about 25 yards out. Ball comes swerving in and goes well wide. Kaufman did not give her teammates much in the way of an opportunity there.
Yeah, I can't believe her strategy was to try to sneak that one inside the near post from that distance. She was quite a ways out. That's a pretty easy save to make for a goalkeeper unless it's struck absolutely perfectly. So I think a clear miss hit there on that delivery.
As we said before, Claire Beck now checking in for Aaron Hayward for the Lightning, and this ball comes off of Anna Enning's foot. Big touch really lets Anna down as that ball is scrambled over into touch because there were two Eastview players smelling blood in the water. Seehafer with some good defense on Poli. Poli can't quite keep her balance, and that ball goes into touch for another Lightning throw.
Eagan not quite winning these 50-50 balls cleanly. They're close, just not able to get a hold of them. Nice breakout opportunity here, though, for the Wildcats.
Wiesendoner gets it over to Waldrop. Waldrop's got Leitenberg on the outside. That's picked off, almost picked off by Cobbler. Leitenberg with it. She's going to drive the line with her left foot, slides it in, but nobody's chasing. Here's Waldrop. Tamely fires it at Abruzzo. It's a shot on goal, but not particularly weighty or pacey.
Yeah, it's almost like she hit that looking for somebody to do some form of a deflection, like a like a hockey player just throwing it in front of the net. Clearly not one that's going to threaten to get past a good goalkeeper.
Fall finds Seehafer. Seehafer cuts inside. Now she's going to try to look for a teammate. Flips it over to Weisendonner. Weisendonner for Jensen. Check it, that was Enning. And Enning fires wide. So 4 shots so far for the Wildcats. Only 2 on goal, but very tame, as Abruzzo has not been tested.
Yeah, they're doing a better job of getting shots than they were at the beginning of the contest, but need to get a little bit more higher quality when they get those opportunities. I like the pressure they're starting to put on. They just need to finish.
Lightning on the far side now tried to switch the field. It's intercepted that time by Seehafer. Pole is going to watch her as Weisendonner makes a run. Looks like Jensen's also up trying to make a run. The defense is going to put that into touch and allow a reset. As we said, section seedings are on the line here. Both of these teams are 1-0 against section opponents. Wildcats having their way with the Bloomington Jefferson Jaguars. This is a nice move by Seehafer. She's got all sorts of time and all sorts of space. She's calling for somebody to make a run. She crosses it in, looks for Weisendonner. Weisendonner knocks it down. It falls for Jolstrom. Jolstrom can't get it off her feet. Waldrop takes a shot. It's partially blocked. The clearance is blocked by Waldrop. And now the Lightning get it clear. Needs to be somebody on the other end of that cross from Josie Seehafer. And Jolstrom just took too many touches.
Yeah, she got stuck with the ball underneath her, and she wasn't able to get her body position in a spot where she could put on a shot. So she did the next best thing, trying to feather that off to a teammate who was in a better position to shoot. Unfortunately, it just didn't go home.
It's just not much, and Skip, there's just not enough time, right? I mean, from our perspective, of course it's easy to see up here, but there's just not enough time as the defense is closing down both from behind and the front. And there's just, in that part of the pitch, there's just the number of touches you can take and the amount of time you can have the ball on your feet is just exponentially smaller than normally where Jolstrom, say, plays in the midfield. There's almost an interception by Jolstrom, but it slips by. Goes down looking for Poli. Poli and Enning are going to chase that. Enning's going to put that into touch. As I was finishing the point when Seehafer made her run, as this ball gets crossed in towards Valaga. Valaga claims it. Nicely done. A good cross, but Valaga more than equal to that task. There's all sorts of room here on the pitch. Look at all the room that Enning has. She finds Weisendonner. Weisendonner finds Seehafer. Real contrast to what Minnetonka was doing to the Wildcats on Saturday, absolutely choking them of any air in the midfield. And now Wildcats with space. Look at Waldrop. Waldrop just dribbled 20 yards. That ball comes in from Leitenberg, but finds its way to Abruzzo. But both teams, the Wildcats are 1-0 in section play, taking care of the Jefferson Jaguars, and the Lightning are also 1-0 in section play, having handled the Hastings Raiders already this season. Both of these teams will be starting primarily a conference and section-laden schedule. See if this ball gets over the top, and it does fall for Seehafer. She gets it on her left foot. Good team defense that time by the Lightning. Leitenberg.
Boy, the point you brought up earlier is spot on. The Eagan's coming off a match against the Skippers where the amount of time that they had when they had the ball on their foot was very little. The Skippers would apply aggressive pressure immediately. We've seen numerous times already here, in this first half, in the first 20 minutes, and Eagan's got yards of space. It's quite a contrast.
Turner with a big throw, looking for the penalty area, finds Weisendonner, almost finds Weisendonner's head. Comes out to Fall. Ball gets by Fall, and She'll play it back, or inside, I should say, to Jolstrom. Jolstrom had been covering there for Turner. Header from Addie Tanner, who is now checked in, replacing Seehafer on the near side. Lightning with it, trying to find out Jolstrom running away from the ball. That ball's going to come up over the top, and that's going to be clearly offside. Yep, that's an offside call on the Lightning. That was Kaufman who had wandered and strayed into an offside position, but still a smart run by Kaufman. Make the run and hope the ball gets there on time.
Yeah, it was a nice steal and counterattack there by the Lightning. Eagan needs to be a little cleaner when they're clearing the ball out of the defensive third. They had possession and just misconnected on a pass, and one that should have been fairly easy to pull off.
Well, it's interesting that Jensen has moved somewhat from the midfield into a forward, almost equal to, at level with Weisendonner. It's almost like the Wildcats are running with 4 in the midfield with 2 up front instead of 1. This ball is taken away from Leitenberg. Leitenberg showing her track speed, looks for Weisendonner. Weisendonner has a chance to switch the field. She looks for Tanner. Tanner chips that forward. It's played by Eastview, not by Jensen, who might have been in an offside position. Smart by Jensen to let Eastview try to play that ball, because there was a good chance that Jensen had been offside. See some changes. We're seeing bumpers check in, as well as, I believe it's Emma Fetsic.
Number 22, going off Kylie Weisendonner, number 10.
So Courtney Bumpers and Emma Fetsic checking into the game for the Wildcats. As Coach Q is starting to go to the bench, here's Enning. Enning wins it back. Comes for Turner, who chips it forward, saved by Turner. It's an opportunity for Bumpers. Bumpers calling for it. Tanner sends it for Bumpers. Bumpers has got the speed to get there. Nothing there. Partisan fans a little upset at that one. I'm not sure why, because quite frankly, it was Bumpers who ran into the back of Nygaard. I certainly didn't see much there.
I agree with you that Nygaard had position and Bumpers ran into the back and Bumpers fell down. That doesn't make it a foul on Nygaard.
No, it does not.
The push from behind, though, is a foul.
That was a push, and I think that was Fetsic, and so that will be a foul. The 4th foul by the Wildcats here in the first half. Quickly moving first half. Now getting close to 16 and a half minutes to go in the first half as Kaufman puts her foot to that, sends it forward. Lands for Tanner. Tanner flicks that on, and it's going to find touch.
Eagan has had more success when they've settled the ball down and done some passes on the ground. That ball gets in the air like that, they should focus on settling it.
Referee was watching that very closely. I wonder if the ball had not fallen to the Wildcats, maybe he was going to blow a whistle there, as there was a collision with Valaga, and from my perspective, that would have been probably a whistle to blow had it not fallen to the Wildcats, but in any event, no harm, no major harm, so no foul. Here at Eagan Stadium, we are ordinarily blessed with a number of ball kids, but tonight it appears that we are a little short of ball kids. So it's taken a little extra time to get the ball into play as Tanner finds Jensen. Jensen over the top looking for Bumpers. Courtney Bumpers around the end and can't quite keep that one in. Unlucky for her. As we've seen Courtney Bumpers in the last handful of games, Skip Newton, show us not just the straight line speed we always knew she had, but a little bit of shiftiness.
Yeah, I really liked that creative idea there by Bumpers. She was trying to just flick it right past the defender, knowing that if she can keep it in play, she can utilize her speed to get around her. It was, like a pass to open space to herself. Just couldn't quite keep it in.
Number 7 going out for the Lightning. Number 2 Emma Johnson, and number 8 Claire Beck.
Cron has come in, and I believe we've got a couple of other substitutions here. We'll try to get them all, folks, if we can. So Cron has come in. It looks like, I can't tell if they've moved to 4 at the back or not, but in any event, here comes Tanner. and gets by everybody. I think Tanner's might actually get a chance at that ball, but after a good effort.
That's a tough play by Tanner. She couldn't let it go because she hadn't had her teammate get up into that open space. That pass across was really moving fast, and it just didn't give Anning an opportunity to get over there. I think she would have liked to otherwise let it go, so she had to try and touch it forward. It was a difficult ball, especially with someone right there challenging her at the point of contact.
And Anna Enning has moved into a midfield role as Kron has come in, so here's another ball down around the corner, and Bumpers just got caught for offsides. I believe that's the first offsides call against the Wildcats here. Courtney Bumpers doing a good job of stretching the field, as you can see. I mean, I have to say, Skip, I'm a bit flabbergasted that both teams have given this much space to each other in the midfield. I mean, it seems like when players are receiving the ball, there's often not a defender within a few yards of them.
Yeah, and definitely more, I think, from the Eastview perspective. It feels like Eagan's doing a better job of pressuring, but I've seen Eagan play more aggressive defense, but I do think they're at least stepping it up higher right now than Eastview. So we'll see if that continues. If Eagan continues to get that open space, that's going to eventually lead to really good scoring opportunities. It just always does, because you're letting very talented players have too much time on the ball, time to settle it, time to look around, time to make a decision. Am I going to pass? Am I going to shoot? That usually leads to goals against.
Substitution for the Lightning.
So interesting change by Coach Q. It looks like he does have, in fact, 3 at the back, but Isabella Fall has moved between Kron and Turner. So Kron and Turner are your outside backs with Fall in the middle. That's something of a bit of a riff on an earlier opportunity. And here's this ball falls for Bumpers. Bumpers is going to take this around the edge. I think this is off believe that is off a Lightning player, and indeed the assistant referee agrees. So we will have something we have not had yet in this half, Skip Newton, and that is a corner kick.
Yeah, this will be a good opportunity for the Wildcats as they bring up, of course, more players from that back line and that midfielder to plug the 6.
Jensen with it with the right foot. Good head away, defensive head away, but it comes back to Jensen. Jensen tries to get it on her right foot, goes left foot, lays it off for Fetsic. Ball comes in. And Waldrop and one of her teammates going to ping-pong it around, and it's still bouncing around. And now we have a handball against, I believe, Tanner. And so the Wildcats will lose possession. That's an opportunity. Really is an opportunity that's gone by the wayside, as the Wildcats have not had a lot of. Scoreboard has them with 4 shots. I've got them with 4 shots, but only really 2 on goal, and nothing that has troubled the keeper.
One thing that's really interesting on these corner kicks that the Wildcats take is every girl that was in the box was actually inside that smaller 6 box. There was nobody like hanging around at the 18, nobody outside for a possible corner that wouldn't be close in where they want it, or when it is close in and it gets deflected out, maybe by the goalkeeper, maybe it gets deflected out by the defense, there's no one there to pick up that loose ball. I think that's an interesting strategy, because having somebody out at that 18 could be a great place to hammer home a shot when that ball comes out there.
Eastview looking to break. Good job by Turner stepping up. Takes that away, lays it off for Jensen. Jensen lays that off now for Kron. Kron chips it over the top, looking back to Jensen. Does fall for Jensen. Jensen gets it on her right foot, sends it towards goal, but it's harmlessly wide. Wildcats not really generating any quality scoring chances. In fact, if I'm honest, neither team generating any quality scoring chances, as Enning is now withdrawn. Kron switches to the other side, and Seehafer is back on the pitch.
Yeah, based on the play thus far, I think the fact that we're scoreless is not a huge surprise. Like you said, not a lot of good scoring chances either way. More shots for Eagan, but not high-quality shots yet.
Well, and speaking of not high-quality shots, that's just, you're not going to score commonly from 35 yards out like that on the ground. It's just highly unlikely. There needs to be some magic, and the question is which team can summon up that magic here, maybe even before the first half, as we are inside 10 minutes to go. Bumpers with it. She flicks it over. Tanner's going to make a run. Thought about maybe stopping. Now she goes. Now she's got it on her right foot. What can Tanner do here? Tanner earns the throw. Okay, I'm confused. I thought that was going to be a throw-in.
Yeah.
I understand that is now a corner.
Yeah, that's a surprise for me, too. I thought for sure it deflected out.
Oh, it is now.
Yeah,
okay, now it is a throw. Okay, but, well, Jensen went over to take it. Everybody set up as if it were a corner. Nice opportunity here for the Wildcats if they can attack it. And Abruzzo off her line, nicely done. Nice opportunity. I wouldn't say it was a great scoring chance, but certainly had Abruzzo not played that clean, that could have been dangerous.
Yeah, it was a nice play by Abruzzo, not only going up and playing it, but holding on to the ball and not giving up any sort of a rebound, or that would have been very dangerous for Eastview.
Waldrop's ball is found at the back line, and back line, instead of going backwards, sends it out. Wildcats take over. Now Waldrop again. She's got all sorts of time, and we saw last year, Skip Noon, how dangerous that is. Speaking of dangerous, can Tanner get to that ball, and she can't. But Kira Waldrop, with time on her hands and space to shoot from distance, has borne fruit for the Wildcats before.
Yeah, her first 2 shots in this game have not been as strong as what we've become accustomed to. Of course, that cross, she actually hit too strong, looking for the corner for Tanner. A great idea, just hit a little too aggressively.
Hayward battling there with Turner. 2 players that know each other well. Jensen. And Seehafer's actually on the far side as this ball gets switched around. Good opportunity here for the Lightning as advantage is played by the keeper, or excuse me, by the referee. And that ball is off the head of Surnahouse. Thank you. Our PA announcer's corrected me. It's CC Surhouse, and she was looking for a little bit of quality there. Didn't quite get what she was looking for as this ball finds its way to Fetzich. Cron clears that up, looking for a teammate. First to it is a Lightning player. Fetzich runs that down again. Tanner get caught flat-footed. The ball finds its way into touch.
That last break by the Lightning, the best one of the half for sure for them, as they've had very little possession on the Eagan half of the field.
Here's Waldrop on a wonder. She's got the opportunity. Bumpers had slowed her run. Abruzzo might have been caught inside. Oh, Bumpers. Bumpers had slowed her run, thinking that Waldrop was maybe going through. And had Bumpers continued her run, she might have been a step or two closer to that ball. But if you're going to give Kira Waldrop that much space, the senior captain's going to take it. Under 6.5 minutes now to go. Wildcats and Lightning. Neither team able to finish the task. Does that throw in? It's a bit of a knuckleball. Lands for Cron, who finds Bumpers. Now Tanner with it. Fetzich is going to chip that over the top. And while it's a beautiful chip, it's just too close.
Yeah, that's a really tough pass to make from that distance. She's passing it to a player that's directly in front of her. It's not a diagonal run. It's not a diagonal pass. It's straight ahead. And I can't tell you, as the player that's making the run, that's a really hard ball to deal with, especially as tight as she was to the goal. She just didn't have the space to track that down and do anything with it, even if she'd have been able to catch up to it.
And Bray checks in for Jensen. Good step by Cron. Back and forth zipper passing from Tanner, and Fetzich finds its way over to Waldrop. Waldrop's going to look for one of her teammates. Seehafer glanced off her right boot. But Abruzzo again alertly off her line. The back line for the Lightning looks like they're playing 3 at the back as well, and so there should be room to the outside for the Seehafers and Leitenbergs of the world, but so far the back line able to run them down.
Yeah, Eagan playing very direct up the middle, passing the ball to a teammate directly in front of him, and we've seen that continuously. Not using the outside lanes like they have for most of the first 6 games of the season. And honestly, the first 6 games that have been successful, here's another one that's more direct up, nobody checking back to the ball. That's a very difficult long pass to complete.
Bray lays that off for Seehafer. Check it, that's Leitenberg who had checked back in. Now here's Seehafer. She looks for one of her teammates in the middle. Bodies coming together, but just nobody running onto it. As Hayward tries to make a play on it, as Fall takes it away. Fall's going to look for a teammate. She looks and finds Bumpers. Bumpers, nice spin and turn there, but again, just no quality there on that. Unable to corral it.
I'll tell you, there was a great play there by Addison Tanner. As the ball was coming up, she checked back and checked to the outside, and she did a couple of things with that. One, she presented her teammate with a pass option, and a relatively easy one at that. Secondly, she cleared out the space behind her because the defender went with her, thus opening up that lane to make that long ball pass if the girl with the ball wanted to make that decision and that choice. Just a really good run there by Tanner.
Throw from Cron finds its way to the back line, and the Eastview defense not taking any chances. We're going to have another corner as Nygaard, the aforementioned center back. Yeah, aforementioned center back, puts that out. So the Wildcats, with just now 3 minutes to go here in the half, with another opportunity, Bray will stand over it. Can somebody in blue get a head or other body part, not their hands, to this ball? Nice job. There's a flick back to Bray, and all the fancy machinations result in an offside call. Wasted opportunity for the Wildcats.
Heady play by the Eastview defense to come off the line and put the taker of the corner kick in an offside position like that. That's the danger of going short, is you are taking the kick. You're standing basically on the goal line. So as soon as you get rid of that ball, you're going to be in an offside position if you stay there.
And there was a defender on near or close to Abruzzo, but as this cross comes in from Tanner, finds its way to Fetsic. Fetsic fires and goes well wide. Fetsic with an appeal for a foul, but from my perspective, didn't look like there was much there. She stepped in, followed through, and there was contact, but certainly nothing foul-worthy there from my perspective.
No, I agree, and I liked the play there of the other Eagan teammate getting out of the way, seeing that Fetsic had a really good opportunity to take a right-footed shot.
Fetsic with a little bit of frustration, maybe taking it out on one of the Eastview players. I did not see who that was, but Waldrop's going to run this down now. Leitenberg is going to give chase, play that back for Fall. Fall's going to be in a little bit of trouble there, but finally gets it over to Leitenberg. Nicely done by Isabella Fall. Leitenberg turns that over. Into the last 90 seconds, 80 seconds of the first half. Score still 0-0. Captivating tilt here between the Wildcats and the Lightning. Neither team unlocking any real magic. Tanner had all sorts of room behind her. Somebody's got to tell her she can turn there. Instead, she goes back to Cron, who pooches it forward.
Yeah, normally playing that back by Tanner is the only option because she's being chased from behind. There was nobody there, and she probably didn't know it.
Somebody's got to talk to her and let her know. And curiously, this ball will be an Eastview throw with just a few seconds here to go. Fair result, Skip Newton, for the first half, a 0-0 draw?
Yeah, I would say it is. I mean, based on the lack of – I was confused there by the fact that Eastview was also confused. No one's really sure why that call was made. I think Eastview was assuming the same thing I was. Oh, it has to be a kick because we kicked it out. But regardless, yes, Eastview has not had much pressure at all. We've seen a couple of nice plays by Valga to prevent any sort of scoring chance other than maybe this one. But Eagan, while having better possession certainly in the Eastview half, but even down in the attacking third, it hasn't resulted on really good scoring chances as far as there was a player that had the opportunity to take a good shot. they've put the ball in the middle quite a few times. We've seen the ball, played out by the defense where if an Eagan player had been there, absolutely a great scoring chance. They just can't quite get it in a position to pull the trigger.
Coach is happy, you think, Skip, with their sides and how they've played, or not happy?
I think he's going to be happy with the lack of pressure by Eastview. I think he's going to be happy with the overall time of possession by Eagan, but he definitely will be not happy with the lack of what we've talked about, really, really good scoring chances.
Well, we're going to step aside here for halftime. Again, 0-0, 0-0 here in the States between the Wildcats and the Lightning here from Eagan Stadium. Wildcat Stadium, I should say. We're going to step aside, and we'll be back in about 10 minutes with half number 2. You're watching and listening to ETV.
Wow. I just finished previewing some of the films in this year's Eagan Art Block Short Film Festival. And let me tell you this might be our best year yet. I'm out of popcorn, so come with me. Tickets are on sale now on eagan-tv.com for the 2023 Eagan Art Block Short Film Festival, which takes place on Saturday, September 23rd, right here at the Imagine Theater in Eagan. With the popcorn, snacks, drinks, not to mention a Q&A with filmmakers, and a great selection of films, this festival is going to sell out fast. So get your tickets now on eagan-tv.com for the 2023 Eagan Art Block Short Film Festival, and be a part of one of Minnesota's fastest growing film festivals. And we'll see you at the movies.
Today we're doing the annual Cats vs. Cops, where we play a 7-on-7 game against the cops here in Eagan.
This was actually an idea a couple years ago of our police chief, Roger New. He said we should play a touch football game, and him and our former president, Jack Esser, made this happen.
Myself and another community member, Jack Esser, were thinking of ways to try to bring the community together, and he said, would you be interested in playing flag football against a high school team before the season kicked off? And I said, yeah, why not? And 3 years later, here we are.
Just an opportunity for us to give back to the community, get a chance to connect with our local police officers and the way they've been able to do stuff for the community for us. It's a chance for us to have some fun out there and play what we do on Friday nights with them.
One of the most important parts about this event is just trying to bring the community together. We never knew that it was going to grow to this extent, but we're glad that we could just be part of this event, and we just appreciate the community support.
Our police force is awesome, and for us to be able to do this with them, I think is just, it shows that they're looking for ways to be out in the community. So we come together and we play 7-on-7, and we have a blast out there. I love anything we can do to build that relationship.
They do so much for us, so it's a great way to give back to them, and it's a night for them to take off doing their duties as police officers and enjoy being a high schooler like we are and having some fun playing some football.
We're the Eagan Wildcats, but we're all Eagan. We're all one team. It's a great event and it's a lot of fun.
Do you know about Positively Eagan? It's a video series by ETV that highlights the good happening in our Eagan community. Stories of people reaching out, giving back, or shining a light on the people who make Eagan great. If you or someone you know has a story to share, we want to hear about it and feature it in Positively Eagan. Visit cityofeagan.com/positively-Eagan to submit your story and watch previous episodes.
small area plan offers us a formal method to look at a particular area in detail. We're looking at not just the here and now, but we're looking at the past and the future, 20 or 40 years into the future. In this case, it's the area around Eagan Central Park. So the Unisys building, the former Delta building, and the former Argosy University building. Together, that comprise about 79 acres and over 731,000 square feet of office space. Because of the current state of the office market, we have high office vacancies in the Twin Cities and really across the nation. So likely what will happen here is that the sites will be redeveloped for different uses. The goals in creating the plan are to collect data, public input, and City Council direction, and use those to communicate the city's vision to potential site purchasers and developers. We've completed the first phase of public engagement. It included print and social media outreach, a digital survey, and 2 events at the Eagan Community Center. It even included an event with 132 4th and 5th graders at Pilot Knob STEM Elementary School. This was such a fun event, and the first time we've done outreach at an elementary school for a planning project. We are beginning our second phase of community engagement. It will include an interactive survey that summarizes everything the planning team has learned, shares the concepts presented to the City Council, and collects community feedback. The planning team will be at Market Fest on July 19th and August 16th to answer questions and collect input. Over 500 people responded to the first digital survey. Feedback from in-person events seemed that people were excited to see the concepts and looking forward to participating in the second phase of public engagement. The concept plans are a visual representation of what we've learned about the site, the market, and community needs. The concept plans are not intended to be a choice between 3 distinct options, but an a la carte menu of possibilities. The concept plans are a visual tool to help us communicate site opportunities to the community. The final plan will most likely have elements of 2 or more concepts. Join us in shaping the future of the area around Eagan Central Park. Visit the city's website for more information.
Welcome back, sports fans, to ETV's coverage of high school soccer here from Wildcat Stadium, campus of Eagan High School, Eagan, Minnesota. A matchup between the Wildcats in blue with white numbers and the Eastview Lightning in white with blue numbers. And Nathan Cron joined by Skip Newton and the ETV cast and crew here. And we've got a second half chock full of all sorts of interesting stories for you. Biggest story is, Skip, that nobody has managed to light the lamp here.
Yeah, it's been a half of, I guess you could call it good defense. I mean, neither defense is giving up great scoring opportunities. The majority of possession was on the favor of the Eagan Wildcats down in the Eastview end. If that continues, I gotta believe that eventually the dam will break and Eagan will start to get a couple of really good shots on. If they do that, and like you suggested as we were talking at halftime, if they can get one, the floodgates may open, and hopefully Eagan can put 2 or 3 up in this half. They have the capability to do it. They just need to get that first goal and kind of get that monkey off the back, so to speak.
We'll set your lineup here in just a moment of the Wildcats as Seehafer takes this up the right side. Looks for Weisendonner. It's poked away that time alertly by the defense. It's sent back in that time by the outside back. It falls for Leitenberg. Leitenberg's big touch. She still has it on her left foot. Crosses over. Nobody there. Big hit from Westerman right on Abruzzo. That might be the best scoring opportunity the Wildcats have had yet in this game.
Yeah, she had it on her strong foot there, Westerman did, and did a nice job with the bouncing ball, getting over the top of it and not skying it over the net. Unfortunately, the goalkeeper for the Lightning, Abruzzo, was in perfect position. It was kicked right at her.
Ellie Westerman in the starting lineup here for the second half. Had not seen her in the first half. The rest of the starting lineup for the Wildcats unchanged. And to my eye, it looks like most of the starters are out. Yeah, it looks like most of the starters are out also for the Eastview Lightning. So no major change, no obvious changes there as Turner hoists that towards Jensen. That ball gets flicked on and will find its way to Abruzzo. And the introduction of Westerman on the left side, kind of an interesting option for Coach Q as Leitenberg has slid into the back. Wildcats look to be playing maybe 4 at the back right now, not 3 at the back. There's a little back and forth there between the teams, both lobbying for the throw-in, but it falls that time in favor of the Wildcats. Westerman battling for it there. It finds its way to the middle of the field, and here's Anna Enning on the far side, locked up head-to-head with Poli.
Thought Anna had an opportunity there to maybe play it back to Valaga in net. Instead, plays it safely into touch in between the two benches.
A good defense there by the Wildcats in terms of using the body. Ball finds its way to Jensen in the middle. Jensen harassed there by the defense of Schaefer. This ball comes flipping into the Lightning half and goes into touch. And again, because we don't have too many ball kids, oddly, and it's such a strange thing. The Wildcat Stadium usually is well supplied with all the local soccer clubs giving us ball kids, but tonight, for whatever reason, we don't have very many around the pitch. And as a result, if the ball is kicked out of bounds, there's a little bit of a delay.
Yeah, especially on that far side. There's a couple of girls down here on the near side.
Jensen finds Weisendonner. Weisendonner right back out for Jensen. Nice 1-2 pass. Jensen has it on her right foot. She plays it off an Eastview defender, and we will have our first corner of the second half, third of the game for the Wildcats. Lightning had none in the first half. And that gets played quickly. Falls for Waldrop. Waldrop's big touch, and Poli eats Waldrop's lunch. Waldrop lucky that didn't get going the other way as the ball was it was an interesting corner idea, Skip, but the execution just not there.
Yeah, the pass out to Waldrop almost has to be just a hard roller on the ground where if she needs to, she can one-time that either into the center as a pass or a shot. she had to take a touch, and the defense was coming out like a train, and she could not possibly settle that and get that shot that she wanted. I mean, it was too big of a touch. I'm sure she's disappointed with that, but still, that was a little hard to deal with.
Waldrop with a couple of opportunities there, and this ball finds its way back to the Lightning. Fall's going to give chase. Lays that off for Valaga, who sends it back out for Fall. Good job relieving the pressure. Lightenberg. Back for Fall. There's an element of east-west, needs to be maybe a bit more north-south, and now the Wildcats start going north-south as Westerman was trying to let that ball come through. And oddly enough, that's going to be a blue throw. I think the Lightning are going to be justifiably irritated that they were not awarded that throw, but again, it's a throw 50 yards away from goal. I can't imagine it's going to be the end of the world if the Wildcats throw the ball in here.
It went off an Eastview player, but I thought it hit her after it already crossed the touchline. So yeah, an interesting call.
The ball comes in for Westerman. That ball gets sent into touch and over the end line. That's another corner here for the Wildcats. So the corners are starting to pile up. This will be the fourth corner of the game. Wildcats cannot afford to allow these chances to go unused. It's a 0-0 ball game, and Jensen will trot over to take it.
Let's see if they can get that good shot off this opportunity here. That's what they've been missing.
Jensen with the right foot. And that is not going to get it done. When the ball lands behind the goal, that is not what the doctor ordered, so to speak. All that being said, the Wildcats in the first handful of minutes of this second half have certainly brought energy. Lightning have done a pretty good job too, although in fairness, most of the pressure has been in the Lightning end, at least for the first 6 minutes. Lightning are also, like the Wildcats, going to have to find some creativity here. The Lightning are 4-1 on this young season, so they play Apple Valley on the 14th. That's Thursday. Some nice move there by Seehafer. Seehafer crosses in. Nice header away that time by the defense. Opportunity there by Seehafer, intercepted, but finds its way to Westerman. Just got to check it. That's Lightenberg. Westerman now. Oh, that was Westerman. Two blondes with long ponytails that play on the same side. Forgive your commentator. It's Johnson on the far side. She goes around one Wildcat defender. Stops, pulls it back. Good turn there by the Lightning as Lightenberg is going to run that down, send that too hot for Westerman, and throw for the Lightning. But both teams really looking for some magic, looking for something to unlock creativity in the attacking third. You said, Skip, the Wildcats using a little bit of blunt force here. Advantage here to the Wildcats. Falls for Liv Enning. Westerman. Westerman back for Enning. Westerman might have had a better target in Jensen ahead. And something of a harsh yellow card there, I thought, on Enning. So Enning's going to draw a yellow card in the 48th minute. I mean, it's a foul, certainly, but yellow card? I don't know. Maybe, maybe not.
Yeah, if the game had been fairly physical up to this point, I could see that. I could see the need to maybe get control, but I don't feel like there's been a ton of really aggressive fouls, so I wouldn't have been upset if he hadn't given the yellow. I can see that either way. I'm still recovering from the boys' game earlier where there were 3 yellow cards to each team and should have been a red card.
Offside call here against the Lightning. Pretty easy call as 2 players had wandered and strayed into an offside position.
Indirect free kick for the Wildcats.
Right now, the Wildcats defensively pretty stout, but offensively a bit stunted. Free kick finds its way into the midfield and then gets sent around. Polai's going to try to run this down. It goes into touch. Credit to Polai, she wasn't going to give up on that one. And some ping-ponging back and forth, and again, a little bit of a run for the Wildcat players going to take in the throw.
I think they'd have a couple of spare balls, like just on the benches that the bench could just throw over quick.
The problem with that, of course, is the fact that the bench might not be all that inclined to throw the ball in if, depending on the circumstances of the game, as Jensen's dispossessed. Now Enning. Now back for Anna Enning. Plays Valaga. And Valaga pops that out. Jensen can't quite get ahead to it, but the Lightning do. And that ball's up and over the top. It's probably going to might find its way into touch, and it does as it outruns everybody. But so far, not a lot of, in the last few minutes have become a bit ragged.
Yeah, I thought the first half, the Wildcats really controlled possession for the majority of that half. The ball was in the Eastview defending half and defending third for quite a bit of that time. We're not seeing as much of that in the second half. And I don't know if the wind is a factor. There's a fairly decent wind, from the north, so going left to right. So Eagan is going into the wind in the second half.
We certainly didn't see a whole lot of impact on the wind in the first half, at least no obvious impact. Wildcats look a bit discombobulated defensively. Now Fall comes out with it, finds Seehafer, tries to turn. Good defense being closed down there by Kaufman. Now Seehafer's got to run to the outside. And Nygaard comes over to take that away. Nicely done by Nygaard, helping out her teammate. Quality defense by the Lightning senior.
Great job there by Seehafer of using her speed into the open space on the right, but as you said, Nygaard came over to help out. Good second defender there by the veteran Lightning defender.
And again, it looks like the Wildcats have gone to a 4-back. 4 in the back instead of the 3 in the back they had in the first half, yet at the same time, we saw that work well against White Bear Lake. This ball's going to be down the sideline. Good attempt at a cross there. Leitenberg's not going to let that by, and it's going to find its way into touch. And interestingly enough, that might have been an Eagan throw that was awarded to the Lightning. And that ball will find its way into touch.
Goal kick, Wildcats.
Eagan would like to thank our platinum sponsors: ARC Soccer Training Center, Melanie and John Willie of Edina Realty, Eagan Football Booster Club, the Eagan Hockey Association, I Got Skills Training, Jordan Drilling Solutions, State Farm Agency Nick DeVries, Triple Diamond Sports Breaks, the Urgency Room, and the Wave Soccer Club. Thank you to our sponsors, our platinum sponsors, for your continued support of Eagan Soccer.
Westerman looks for Leitenberg down the sideline, and it's put into touch that time by the Lightning. That ball finds its way into the penalty area. Leitenberg didn't get there quite like she wanted to, and Westerman fires this towards goal. Weisendonner's going to get to that. Abruzzo also. A good opportunity for the Wildcats as Abruzzo is quickly off her line. If she hesitates any more there, I think Weisendonner's got a left-footed shot at point-blank range.
Boy, that ball went through. I had no expectation of Weisendonner coming anywhere close to that. She really put on a burst of nice speed there to close that gap in a hurry.
Now, that was an absolutely brilliant attempt there by Kylie Weisendonner. Like you, Skip, I looked at that and went, oh, I guess that ball's going to go back to the keeper. Instead, Weisendonner out of nowhere comes running like the Flash. We've got Fall between a couple of defenders. Now lays that off for Seehafer. Seehafer is going to take one touch. Now she crosses it in. It's just too deep. Westerman. Freshman who scored the first goal of Eagan's season. Lays that off for Leitenberg, who fires it into a defender.
Or did she hit her own teammate?
Well, the referees certainly seem to think that she hit her own teammate. That was a bit curious. And I think there's a belief that maybe that should have been an Eastview throw. In any event, the referees down there, certainly they have the better view than we do, but from our perspective, sometimes it's a little hard to feed. Okay, it's a blue throw there. I think everybody agrees in the stadium that was a blue throw. Speaking of everybody agreeing, here's Waldrop. She's being pressured there, and that ball gets pooched over the top. And play that. Enning was told by Turner to play that back to Valga. Instead, she hammers it into touch, and while that's safety first, it also gives possession over to the Lightning.
Yeah, it's another example. We brought it up earlier. We'd like to see Enning make that pass back if she can to maintain possession.
Opportunity by Johnson there. Here's a step by the Eastview Lightning, and that ball will find its way onto the football goalpost, which means it's a goal kick. 25 minutes to go here in this second half. Score 0-0. Lightning and Wildcats.
The shot was number 12.
Playing cagey with each other as Hayward almost intercepts that goal kick.
It really is remarkable how the football goalpost will get hit in every game played here. I've never seen one where it didn't happen. It happened in the boys' game earlier. It happens here again.
Ball comes back to Valga, who now is able to put a foot to it and finds Waldrop's right boot. Waldrop goes over for Seehafer, who flicks it on. And now she's going to run by a defender. Now she's going to run by two defenders. Oh, that was good defense shielding Josie Seehafer off, although that's laid off. Wildcats, here's an opportunity for Waldrop. Can she get a shot? She does, but it's meek and tame and to the corner. Not on target.
Goal kick upcoming. Lightning.
Waldrop continues to get opportunities. I believe that's her third so far, and she just can't get a good foot on it. She's so close. She's moving up at the right time. She's playing aggressively. Her teammates are looking for it. I think it's going to happen if she continues to do this. She's going to find one soon enough, and she's going to use that hammer that we've seen so many times.
Just say that Kylie Weisendonner a couple of times, not just the run earlier, but as this ball finds its way out to Leitenberg. Leitenberg inside for Weisendonner. Weisendonner distributes but can't find Jensen. Jensen turns it over, now gets it back. And a blue throw, but I was going to say Kylie Weisendonner until just now had been doing a really nice job of distributing. I was noticing that was very effective as Jolstrom checks in for Bray.
Back into the game, Inga Jolstrom, number 25.
Yeah, that pass across there for Jensen, just too far in front of her. If she hits her on her feet, it's one touch forward, and she's shooting with the next opportunity. There was no defender in front of her. That would have been a great scoring chance.
Ball comes back from Valga that time. Valga out to Turner. So Bumpers and Jolstrom have checked in. Bad turnover there by the Wildcats, and a good scoring opportunity. It might be the best scoring opportunity the Lightning have had in this whole game.
Which says something, roughly a 30-yard shot.
Taken, number 12.
But you got to take what you can get right now, and both teams are just looking for something to end this scoreless tie.
Good job by Fall, but then it's almost turned back over because the midfield had run away from her. Waldrop. Bumpers is making a run. She's onside. You could tell she was onside. Here's an opportunity for Bumpers. Big touch, let her down. Oh, a little bit of a contact there at the end. That was heavy contact.
Center referee stops the clock for the injury.
As Courtney Bumpers went down in the far corner, away from us. Abruzzo looked to have the ball and looked to have control of the ball. But if there was contact between Bumpers and a defender. I wonder if the assistant referee and the center referee will at least have a conversation about this to see if there was anything there. To my eye, initially, I didn't see anything that looked like a foul. It looked like players coming together, but at the same time, prudence would demand, at least I would imagine prudence would demand, a quick conversation with the assistant referee to say, hey, did you see anything there?
Yeah, that was some pretty significant contact. Hopefully she's okay. I don't know if it's her head that they're looking at. It's tough to tell from this far away.
Well, the referee signaling the players to stay back.
Taking advantage of the camera right next to me to get a better view, but they're just sitting there talking. My guess is that it's a possible head injury. She might be getting a little bit of the concussion analysis here. See if she's okay. It was a great run. Unfortunately, she couldn't pull the trigger when she had the chance. Took one more touch, and that touch got away from her. But right now, we're just more concerned about the fact that she's been down for quite a while.
Up and walking with the trainer Diana Bachland to the scorer's table, and I'll take this opportunity to have Eagan Soccer thank its gold sponsors: Ansari's Mediterranean Grill, Birchwood Dental, Canes, Colwell Banker, Rami Kormat, Devani's Divine Salon, Dunn Brothers, Eagan Arms Public House, love that, Ruben, Eagan Family Dental, Escape With Us Vacations, Homestead Auto, Mark's Towing, Teresa's, Wildcats, Zerbel Orthodontics, and ZZQ Barbecue. Thank you to our gold sponsors for your support of Wildcats Soccer and helping make this experience great, not just for the players, but for the whole community. And we will start with a goal kick, even though that's not the proper restart.
I was just going to say that we should have a drop.
There should be a drop ball to Ashley Abruzzo, but I mean, and here's the thing: a lot of keepers would rather punt the ball here than take a goal kick. So it kind of matters, but in any event, probably won't amount to much. Although it's immediately taken by Waldrop, who pooches it back in, looking for Tanner, who had it intercepted, and now the Lightning look to break. Fall takes it, looks for Leitenberg. Leitenberg was a bit indecisive there, and the defense finally caught up with her. Not sure if she was trying to go to Tanner or not. But in any event, the ball squirts over the top, and Polai will battle Enning. Polai blocks it down. Falls for Jolstrom, who lays it off for Fall. Nice play by Jensen. Now Jolstrom fires it into the back of Weisendonner. Jolstrom, opportunity for redemption. Now there's some one-touch passing. And I think we're going to have a...
Whoa.
I'm a bit unclear as to how that's a foul on Kylie Weisendonner. The player fell down on her own. If anything, that should have been a dangerous play on the Lightning player. I don't know how you call a foul there.
Yeah, I'm shocked that I did not see any foul, but I did see a dangerous play when she started to play the ball while still being on top of it and on the ground.
And I'm utterly confused, but that won't be the first or last time, as Leitenberg looks for one of her teammates, for Weisendonner. Weisendonner lays that off for Jolstrom. Can Jolstrom get to it? She does. Weisendonner. Nice move there by Weisendonner. She chips it over the top. Here's a great run by Seehafer. She's got the ball in the penalty area. She's going to try to pull it back. Cross it in left foot. Someone's got to attack the ball, and no one's there. Seehafer might have been better off crossing it rather than trying to go straight to goal, but that's just a case perhaps of a player just trying to do a little too much, Skip Newton.
Yeah, she did a great job of bringing that back. She had no angle. She was being defended, and she had no one to drop the ball back to, no support pass, so she just brought it back to herself, and she had space. Unfortunately, she couldn't get anything when she turned and fired. She, hindsight, of course, being 2020 like it always is, could have come across with that and looked at another option. But Eagan is continuously setting themselves up with opportunities down here. This is more of what we saw in the first half.
Good balls by the Wildcats here. Nice switch of the field. Of course, as I say that, they lose possession as Poli would have to be 8.5 feet tall to get that ball. Maybe at least one substitution here coming for the Lightning at some point.
Substitution for Eastview.
Important opportunity here for the Wildcats. It's still right there for the Wildcats, but at the same time, given the score, it's right there for the Lightning too. All it takes is one opportunity. And viewers may recall last year in the section semifinal game, the Wildcats dominated the first half. In terms of possession, touches, shots on goal, all of those things. Yet it was the Eastview Lightning that came away with a 1-0 lead at halftime. On a I wouldn't say last minute, but a goal in the last handful of minutes. And that might be on the minds of Coach Obarski right now and these Lightning, is to say, hey, these guys can have all the possession they want, they can have all the success they want, but if we score a goal, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, and we've talked about this, with numerous games that we've played. When you get two teams that are playing and one team you feel like is generally controlling the ball, I don't want to use the word dominating the play when it's a tie game, but their time of possession is greater, their shots on goal are greater, all their opportunities are greater, and yet the game remains scoreless. The longer it remains scoreless, that starts to favor the team that isn't controlling the ball as much, because now all they need is one break to go their way, and they'll find themselves with a 1-goal lead.
Jensen with an opportunity, couldn't corral it. It's taken away there by the Lightning and pooched back in. Comes off the back of Turner's head, but it's gobbled up by Natalie Valaga, the senior keeper. Her punt finds the Lightning, then finds Weisendonner. Weisendonner sends that over the top. Seehafer is going to make a run here. And that ball is going to be sent towards the touchline, but not out of play. I think the defender was thinking that was going to get into touch, and it didn't. Seehafer grabbed it quickly, and but for Nygaard's alert play putting that out, that might have been a real opportunity for the Wildcats.
Yeah, Josie did a great job of almost capitalizing on a rare mistake there, where you're just kicking the ball into touch to relieve pressure, and you don't kick it hard enough, and it doesn't go over the line.
Enning replacing Jensen. This ball falls for Waldrop. Waldrop will line up and shoot. It does split the uprights, but that's the wrong sport.
That's the hammer we've been looking for. She just got a little too much of it. But like we said, Kira Waldrop can and has scored from distance. That is absolutely possible. I want her taking that shot. She just got a little too much.
A bit surprising. Eastview Lightning are no stranger to a ball like that as this ball comes up over the top. This is a great ball to Leitenberg. She's got it on her left foot, looks for Tanner. Tanner sends it towards net, but can't find the magic. Tanner again. Her pass now intercepted. Good defense that time by the Lightning. Fancy footwork there by the Lightning. Probably didn't need to, but Fall turns it over. Now the Lightning are going to have an opportunity as the Wildcats get back. Hayward switches the field. Finds Anna Enning. Poli and Enning. Now Seehafer. You get the sense that if either team could string together 5 or 6 passes in the attacking half, they're going to have an opportunity. This ball gets sent back over by Waldrop. It was a bit of an aspirational cross. Didn't really pick out anybody. As Fall puts that into touch. And give a shout out to our award-winning ETV crew. Josh Selby is our producer. Nick Mudd, our on-site director, and our camera people. Kiana Zastapil and Michelle Nielsen, thank you for all you do here to make Skip and I sound and look so good. Just under 14 and a half minutes to go here in the second half. And because this is a conference game, I believe we will have overtime should we end up 0-0, Skip Newton. So stick around, folks. If this ends 0-0, we may be in a situation where we may have some overtime.
It was really interesting on that last Eastview run. They had 5 players on the attack. Only 5 girls for the Wildcats came back to defend it. It was 5-on-5, and they didn't look like they were in any hurry to get more girls back. Typically, defensively, you want to be numbers up. You do not want to be even or numbers down for sure. But it's almost as if Eagan was willing to trust their back 5 to say, you know what, we need to keep the pressure on. We're going to stay up in our positions and look for a counterattack.
Ball goes over the top from Waldrop, finds Tanner. Tanner's going to have to get decisive with this. She sends it in towards Seehafer. Seehafer battling, and she scrambles the ball in. Josie Seehafer. Right, left, and a knockout blow perhaps by the junior forward as Seehafer scores in the 67th minute to give the Wildcats a 1-0 lead.
Finally, the Wildcats are able to get that shot that we were looking for when they get it in close. They just haven't been able to get a foot on it. And this wasn't a blast by any stretch, but you don't need to do it from that close. You just need to put it into the goal. You need to finish, and that's exactly what she did. You just slid it into the corner. A great goal for the Wildcats. Obviously not interested in any of that overtime nonsense.
Well, of course, we're home of the Wildcats, so it's not an uncommon thing for us to take that position. As Cron's going to check in for Weisendonner. Weisendonner did a good shift. Seehafer with the goal, assist to Addie Tanner, who put it into the penalty area to allow Seehafer to scramble it around. And it's a situation where, like last week or last Saturday, where the Wildcats had at least one Minnetonka player unmarked, giving up a kind of a, I don't want to say a bad goal, but a goal that, hindsight being 2020, they probably could have had better defense on. That time the Lightning had three defenders around Seehafer. They just could not get a foot to the ball. Seehafer on the outside. She's got a real speed advantage over most of the players she takes on. Gives it to Tanner. Tanner swings it for Jolstrom. Jolstrom. Now she finds Waldrop. Look at all the space that Waldrop has. Opportunity to create. Here's an opportunity for Enning. And Enning fires on goal, and a good save by Abruzzo. Enning with a left foot, and Abruzzo doing a nice job of knocking that down, but Enning really shot it right at her.
Yeah, she needed to go far post. She had a whole lot of net over there. It was a brilliant through ball. Just this perfectly feathered pass with perfect touch by Kira Waldrop. Unfortunately, just could not finish. We talked earlier, the first goal may lead to the dam breaking and the floodgates opening. Let's see if that happens here in the final 12.
Lightenberg looking for Tanner making the run. And that ball's going to find its way into touch. And again, we'll have to see if the Wildcats can at least be smart about this, like no running to get the ball. I mean, use the time that's given to you, so to speak, right? Cron with a good, she has a good throw. Teammates need to use that. That ball's going to find its way into touch, so Cron's going to have another opportunity. Well, wow, that's going to be a Eastview throw.
It looked like Cron may have touched that. It was close. We've had some more questionable throw-in possession calls today than I think I've seen in quite some time in a match.
Well, the good news is that they seem to even out. I mean, both teams will feel rightly confused or rightly aggrieved. There's an opportunity. Lightenberg with a nice one-touch for Tanner. Tanner is going to go to goal, and Abruzzo is going to claim that. Easy as you like. I love the one-touch, though, by Lightenberg. She, Weisendonner, some of these players we've seen, that one-touch really is a dose of creativity. A flick-on like that gives their teammates the opportunity to make the run without slowing them down, and really like to see that happen.
Well, and she immediately made a run afterwards looking for a give and go. Didn't get that, but she did the go. She moved to open space to try and open things up.
Seehafer to the outside. Now she cuts to the inside. Weaker left foot, puts it on Abruzzo. And Abruzzo gobbles that up. Approaching 10 minutes, the last 10 minutes of
The last shot, Josie
regulation.
Number 18.
I'm going to keep saying regulation because the Wildcats have certainly had the tendency to make things interesting. I'll say it that way, Skip Newton. They've made things interesting from time to time.
New
And
substitutions for the Lightning.
Lightning are going to
Back in the game,
substitute.
Sarah
Probably
Colline,
not
number
too many more
24,
substitutions from them
and
for the
Erin
rest
Hayward,
of the game.
Number 7. Going off, Reagan Bates, number 4. Monica Schaefer, number 23.
I would imagine with a 1-0 scoreline, we will see Coach Q be a little more stingy on terms of his defensive, or excuse me, his substitutions as well. Enning sends that towards Tanner. Tanner's going to lay that off for Waldrop. And that ball just too heavy for Enning as she's making the run.
Yeah, I thought when she first placed that it was coming more to the near side and it was going to be Leitenberg running onto that. I thought, oh, what a play, but more straight on than I first hoped for.
Enning is going to look for Seehafer to the outside. Seehafer's going to gobble it up there. Lots of space for Seehafer as well as these midfielders. Seehafer puts it on her left foot, sends it in towards Abruzzo, and again, just not quite enough to trouble the keeper.
I'd like to see a little more patience from Seehofer in that position. Left foot's not as strong. She did have space. She had time, and there's no rush. I mean, you've got your one goal. You can afford to be a little more patient and see if something can develop.
Well, Seehafer dispossessed here. See what the Lightning can do in terms of their development. Enning had it. Now for Waldrop. Waldrop's going to cross it over looking for Seehafer. Seehafer waves a leg at it, but it's out of play. And I think that there was an opportunity even before Waldrop had that ball. Had somebody turned and looked, I think Seehafer had 30 yards of green in front of her on the far side. And again, still, it's funny to say it. This is only game number 7. I believe, if I've counted correctly, it's game number 7 of our season. And so yet the season is a third of the way, almost half over.
Yeah, the fall season is, well, here's an opportunity. The fall season is so fast. It's just, it's amazing how you go from tryouts in those first games and you're playing in hot weather to all of a sudden it's getting down into the 40s and it's playoff time.
I mean, look at all the space that Enning has. Enning looks for Tanner. Tanner tries to one-touch it towards the goal, misses. But look at how much space. I'm just surprised. If I'm honest, the Lightning really should be closing down all of these opportunities that the Wildcats have in the midfield, and they're not.
Well, they need to push up to get that game-tying goal. I understand that strategy, but you have to get possession of it first. To ask your 4 defenders to continuously defend 4 Eagan Wildcat attackers, 3 of which are, all-state track stars, that's asking a lot. And you're just begging the Wildcats to get a second goal and put this one out of reach.
I mean, right now, look at Seehafer. She's just absolutely on a wander. That's Seehafer. There's actually 2 players over there. It was Seehafer looking for Enning. But again, the fact that Seehafer can dribble 20 yards, I'm just surprised. I would think that the Lightning would say, hey, we can't let her dribble 20 yards if we're trying to take the ball back.
Yeah, you're giving up too much space and too much time.
The Wildcat defense has been stingy all year. They've done a good job of holding leads when they've had them. Fall finds Cron. Cron pooches that over the top. Nice backspin on that one. Comes off ahead. Falls for Tanner. Tanner pings it into the air. She'll pressure down there in the corner. I think she's won a throw. No, she hasn't. Referee says that is a white throw. Now the referee says it's a blue throw. Okay. So, folks, it's not just us up here in the booth. Throw from Leitenberg looking for one of her teammates. Puts a left foot to it. Finds Seehafer. Seehafer. Ooh, Tanner. Tanner with a nice little shot. It was crafty, went up over a couple of players. Abruzzo might have had a late break on that, but as quick as you like, Ashley Abruzzo runs that one down.
She first hit that, I thought she had the line on the far corner, but Abruzzo up to the task with a nice play. She plays a really nice game in net.
Yeah, it's going to be if this result holds, as Jolstrom and Tanner are being withdrawn, Weisendonner and Fetzich are joining the fray.
Going off, Addie Tanner, number 7.
Cron with the throw in on the near sideline with 5 minutes and 30 seconds to go here in the half. 1-0 to the Wildcats. If this result holds, I think it's fair to say that as here, great throw by Cron over the top. Sets up Weisendonner. Weisendonner with a cross. Finds Seehafer. Finds Enning. And nobody can get a shot off. Oh, unlucky for the Wildcats. It was a brilliant throw by Cron. Great run by Weisendonner. Great cross by Weisendonner, but just not the end product.
Yeah, unfortunately, that cross was up high on Seehafer. A tough ball to quickly put down to your feet so you can get a shot. She put it right in the middle of the box for a teammate. But again, well defended by Eastview. Just no shot attempt there for Eagan, despite a lot of pressure.
I was saying before that opportunity, if this scoreline holds, it will be a bit cruel to Ashley Abruzzo, given and the defense generally, Nygaard et al., because they haven't played poorly, except for one little opportunity in the 67th minute. 67th minute when Seehafer was able to scramble one in.
We're down to that part of the game, and you've talked about this before, where Eagan needs to play smart. You don't necessarily have to play fast in the attacking third. You need to play safe, and if you can hold on to possession, dribble it. If you're giving open space, just let time run off the clock, and be smart about how you do this and navigate to a one goal victory if necessary.
Eastview team managers running over to get the ball. As again, we're just missing those ball kids. Enning hoofs it out, but it's intercepted. Enning really needs to connect a pass there as Waldrop takes charge. She goes hard down the field. Opportunity for Weisendonner. Weisendonner had Leitenberg. Cron steps up. She sends that high and deep. Ball gets played by the Lightning. Finds for Cron. Cron looking for Weisendonner. Weisendonner battling there against Nygaard. That's been a great battle all night. Johnson and Waldrop. Waldrop's going to come away with that and find Leitenberg. Leitenberg's got all sorts of space. She doesn't have to give the ball up. She can just keep dribbling. Instead, she crosses, and there's no one there. Leitenberg had Weisendonner making a corner run, yet she decided to go to the middle.
Yeah, I'd like to see the corner get used there. Take some time.
Well, especially when you're not under pressure. I mean, you're not under pressure, and there's less than 3 minutes to go. Speaking of pressure, here come the Lightning. The Lightning not riding off into the night, not going to ride off into the night empty-handed without throwing everything they can at this Wildcat defense. Here comes a shot towards Valaga. She claims it. Again, she's got an opportunity here to take her time and make sure everybody gets forward, or she puts a foot to this. And that's a good punt that will find its way towards midfield and Seehafer. Nicely done that time by Fleece.
Boy, it speaks to the dominance of the Wildcats for the last, what I'll call at least 10 to 15 minutes. I feel like that's the first time we've mentioned Valaga's name in quite a while. Like, she has not touched the ball until that play.
Weisendonner cross comes to Enning, gets out. It's going to go for the Lightning. Coming up on 90 seconds to go in the game.
Nice.
Leitenberg, beautiful step. Weisendonner, Enning.
Slow it down, girls.
Seehafer trying to penetrate the defense, can't. Fetzich says, I'll give it a ride. And she sends it towards goal, but well wide. This would be a time when you'd like to see the Wildcats just possess that ball and just see the game to the end. On Enning on the far side. That ball's going to go into touch. And again, here's a situation where she can just take her time. She goes up over the bench. A bit of an expedition around the Eagan Wildcat bench. She can just walk right back to the spot. And she's, I'm not sure, I don't think she did that intentionally to take an extra 5 yards, but burned an extra 2 seconds off the clock as she hoists it down for Weisendonner. Weisendonner with her back to the goal does a nice job. Now she maintains possession. Look at this. Kylie Weisendonner taking it into the corner. She's just going to stand on it. She's got some help there from Liv Enning. Ball does find its way out. Wildcats are now going to have to, nice tackle there by Enning. And a foul on the Wildcats with just less than 30 seconds to go.
That's a good foul.
That is a good foul in terms of breaking things up. Eastview is going to take a free kick. They need to make sure they're taking it from the right spot. And the kick comes towards the Wildcats, looking for Fleece, gets ahead to it. Waldrop says, I'll take that thank you very much, and sends it down into the Eastview end. Here's one last opportunity for the Wildcats and the Lightning, for the Lightning. And that just got a bit nervy there at the end.
Game is over.
I don't think they had enough time to put that one past and get it past the goal line before the horn, but we didn't need it to get that exciting. I could have gone for a much more boring finish, thank you very much.
A bit of late drama here at Wildcat Stadium as the Eagan Wildcats defeat the Eastview Lightning 1-0. Goal by Josie Seehafer in the 67th minute from Addie Tanner is the difference. The Wildcat defense stays stout and picks up an important section and conference victory over the Lightning. Lightning played well, just could not unlock that Wildcat defense. Again, the Lightning will be back in action on Thursday against Apple Valley at Lightning Stadium. Wildcats will be hosting the Rosemount Irish here on Thursday, and it's an all Rosemount back half of the week as the ETV crew will be bringing you Rosemount Eagan football on Friday night here from Wildcat Stadium. Skip Newton, we watched a fun soccer game tonight. It seemed like the right result on balance, didn't it?
Yes, we've talked about this in the past where games have resulted in a draw, and should the team feel good about it, bad about it, et cetera, et cetera. In this case, a draw would have felt, I think, fairly disappointing for the Wildcats. They outplayed Eastview. They needed to get that goal to get that win, because I think they would have really felt bad about not walking out of here with a victory. But to their credit, they continuously put the pressure on. They did a really good job of finishing the game and really dominated the last 20 minutes for sure, and they earned the win.
Still a work in progress, Skip Newton? Still a work in progress, these Wildcat girls?
Always room for improvement. I think any coach will tell you that. They bounce back nicely from a tough loss against Minnetonka, and they took care of business, and they notched a shutout. You can't complain about a shutout.
No, you cannot complain about a shutout if you're an Eagan Wildcat supporter, and the Lightning will feel a little bit disappointed that they weren't able to either crack the code or at least come away with a point in a draw. But the results are what they are. It's the final score here from Wildcat Stadium. It's going to be 1-0 to the Wildcats over the Lightning. I am Nathan Cron, for my broadcast partner Skip Newton and the award-winning ETV crew. So long, everybody, and we'll see you on Thursday.